Birmingham. One Jefferson County. One Alabama. No color line. Live from the Serious Injury Law Group studio, where the name says it all. Visit SeriousLawyers.com or call 205-900-0000. They are serious lawyers producing serious results. W235BS Birmingham. WATV Birmingham. A Courtney French Broadcasting Company. We are the all-new V94.9 WATV. And right now, the V stands for vital.
I got a serious question to ask you, man.
It's time to get wooed with Lady Woo and the crew. The Emmy Award-winning, life-changing, bridge-building, entertainment-filled, substance-packed, turn-up talk show. Vital.
It is what everyone's talking about.
Adjust your radio and find us on social media at V94.9 on Facebook so you can watch and comment. Vital is on your radio.
That's what I'm talking about.
We better, baby.
We on the war tour, ladies, we got the plan. Going into every place with a mic in our hand. We on the war tour, ladies, we got the plan. Going into every place with a mic in our hand. With the city been missing, let's get them jumping and kissing. Thinking and reminiscing, I'm hoping you comprehend, and this is vital. And lady, who's your host, you ain't gon' find another like a plus the who gon' keep the conversation vital. Hold up, you can't deny it, no sir, no ma'am. It's like throwing rocks in the drink, we ain't gon' never slow down. I'm for it. And this I mean, we put it down, spread love, we got enough to go round. Politics is usual out in the inner city. Let's talk about what matters, but still keep it clear. Tell them how the people feel and exercise your First Amendment. Freedom to speak your mind regardless of religion. Your opinion is your opinion, I ain't arguing with you. But maybe I am award-winning number one in the hand. I switch it up. Now watch who works when I get through. She picks it up and she gon' drop a couple jewels. Listen up, we on the war tour, ladies. We got the plan. Going into every place with a mic in our hand. We on the war tour, ladies. We got the plan. Going into every place with a mic in our hand.
Inslee. Welcome in, welcome back. Hour number 2, y'all. Shouts out to Corey Savage. Hadn't played the intro in a long time. That's a groove right there. Okay, that's a whole groovy groove right there. We are coming back in our second hour. It's an hour of power after a really, really deep discussion highlighting Domestic Violence Awareness Month. October is upon us, and there's so much to do in October. I mean, I love October for so many reasons. I'm tired now. We have partied. We have covered some amazing events. We had one on yesterday. Ladies, y'all want to give us a little insight on the Vixen Hang on yesterday Bazaar? We do it every month, once a month. How was that?
It was good, actually. I'm proud of us, Vixens, for holding it down. It was a really great turnout.
Oh, that's loud.
Oh,
Sorry.
that was so
I
loud.
was excited. Go ahead.
But yeah, we had Miss Lovely Bones Rosa set up her boutique, and she had a whole lot of nice clothes and things set up out there. We had Jay Bachi out there. Fat Charles
you
was
saw
there.
that line, girl.
That line was a mess.
So the people came out.
People came
People
out.
showed up.
And
Instead
girl.
really,
of
we
mess
were
in a
all just
positive
vibing.
way.
We were just vibing. It was like, just family reunion for real. We was kicking it.
And that's what it is. It's Vixen Vibes every third Saturday at Bazaar, the coffee bar. Yep.
We're not gonna be handling him like that. Big Ro made his appearance.
The-
and he
the
did an
baby.
excellent.
Big Ro was
job
there, and
in
I left the
hosting
passing.
and guiding.
That's what's up. So like we exemplify what we talk about. You all like really came together as a village and kept the vital baby.
We did. We
That's
got to
what it
give him some
is.
vital onesies and things. Like I was not going to go because I'm like, I don't have nobody to keep my big Ro.
Yeah.
And y'all was like, bring him.
Yeah, I mean, like, why not?
And I brought him and realized that I left the passy when I was getting on the freeway. I was like, I am already late. I'm not turning around. We gonna see how this go.
Yes, so that happened on yesterday. Y'all stay tuned for everything that's coming up as far as the Vixens kicking it, because it's always an awesome time to hang with the girls. And guys, when y'all come out, oh my God, it just makes it even more better. So guys,
There
make
were
sure
a
y'all come
lot
out.
of guys there
Ow.
yesterday.
It was.
too.
Ow. Oh.
Ow.
Okay, gentlemen, that's what we talking about. Like that good blend. The Vixens bring them out. We like good guys. We like good guys. So good guys, keep supporting, keep coming out. Shouts out to GI. Said he popped in. Well, where
He
you at?
was there.
I was like, okay, boo, yeah, thanks. That's
GI
what's
was
up.
there. B&B Mobile Detailing was there.
that's
Michael
what's up.
Bonner, he
Okay.
did come out. There was a lot of people out
It
there.
was.
I'm
It
so
was a lot
proud.
of guys that came out.
Okay, guys, keep it up. Keep up the good work. Vixens might have a party for you or something. All right.
Song.
Also in October, I told you Magic City Classic is about to happen. We'll talk about that on tomorrow. But right now, ADD, ADHD. Somebody said that ain't no daddy in the home disorder. That's what Dr. Umar Johnson
I'm not
said.
laughing at that.
I'm telling y'all, that's what he said.
I get so sick of him.
I
I'm so sick of him.
said, really, sir? My dad was in the home every day, all the time. But that's not what this is about. And to help us figure out what it's all about and how to make sense of it is Dr. Brandy Bowling. Welcome to the show, my sister.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So we've been having these discussions for a long time, just talking about it, but not on the air. So I'm so glad that you were able to get here. Yes. So tell us a little bit about what you do, Dr. Bowling. Like what you doctor the ADHD away? Like what happens? What do you do?
My goodness. Well, first, let me tell you that I'm honored to be here with your listening audience, Lady Wu and the Vixens. Thank you all for having me. I'm Dr. Brandy B, a triple board certified child and adolescent psychiatrist,
Boom.
adult psychiatrist, as well as general pediatrician. And through my Facebook live stream, Focus on It Friday, which airs every Friday on Facebook at Dr. Brandy B, I help worried moms, dads, and the listeners of Lady Wu get all the information they need about ADHD so that their children could be successful in the classroom and in life. So, yes, I'm an ADHD expert. That means I break down ADHD in regular terms so that everyday folks like me can know what the heck it is.
What is it? You
What
first,
is it?
first
Oh
of
my
all,
goodness.
that intro you just gave, and
Right,
wow,
girl.
that made my ADHD get to acting up. I said, "Oh, what am I about to do next? Where am I gonna go back to school this time? And like, how am I gonna?"
So you're a pediatrician too?
General pediatrician,
God just went to all of
board
that.
certified. That's right.
Girl, I need me a new pediatrician,
Don't do
baby.
that now. I can't do it all. I have to.
We're gonna let you focus on this right
Yeah,
now. I'm gonna get your card and stuff. But
And that's what this is all about. So, okay, you just like gave us so much, and that's exciting in itself.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Does it take ADHD to do all that?
Well, I've been accused of that, but I may start or finish a sentence, get distracted, but I always come back and finish.
I
So
always come back.
I might not, I might not have it. I don't know. We have to see. I
Let's
get the
talk.
job done.
Get the job done.
Get
So,
the job.
so let's talk about the job that you do. Let's
Okay,
talk about.
Let's talk about
let's
that.
talk about
So
it.
there was a lot of discussion before we went to the break, Miss Vixens, about is it ADHD or is it ADD? So I want to tell you,
Hmm.
some years ago we just got rid of ADD altogether. And now
Really?
it's all just ADHD. It's true, ladies. Y'all are looking at me in amazement, but it is true. ADHD. And then you have one of three types: predominantly inattentive presentation, predominantly hyperactive impulsive presentation, and then combined presentation. The inattentive symptoms are what used to be called ADD. So now that's just a secret that I only tell my special friends. So
Boom.
I've shared that with you all tonight. So the inattentive symptoms are typically, losing things, forgetting things, not completing tasks, being easily distracted, not responding when your name is called. So someone's like, woo, woo, woo. And you're like, what? And they're like, I called you 3-4 times. You're disorganized, you procrastinate, you rush, and then you make careless mistakes. All of those are going to be inattentive symptoms.
Mhm.
Now, the hyperactive impulsive stuff, most people know about that. Being talkative, being loud, being on the go, can't stay seated, fidgeting. That's why these fidget spinners are so popular. Blurting and interrupting when other people are talking to them. Just moving. That's the hyperactivity. And then the combined is when you have both symptoms.
Right. Let's do this about the symptoms. So some people may have one or two of the symptoms. Everybody doesn't have every symptom that you named, right?
Yeah, everybody doesn't have to have every symptom, but you have to have a majority. I stay away from getting into numbers because sometimes people may say, well, I didn't have that number that she said I needed, so I don't have it. In general, and you know this, Woo, if it is impacting your behaviors, your emotions, your ability to get along with folks, then Miss Vixens, that means that we have a problem, Houston.
Look at him like, oh dang, how many I got? So
I was just
Baby,
thinking
can
about
you
like,
tell the
let me
self-diagnosis that's
tell you.
going on
But
here?
that's what happens, right? So we actually use like medical documentation to tell, like, okay, boom, boom, boom. But then there are other things that you do that help you to identify what you're hearing and what you're seeing.
Absolutely. So I'm going to look at rating scales from teachers, rating scales from grandparents, or the non-custodial parent if the parents are not together. I'm going to even look at what mom or whoever the custodial parent is, look at their skills as well, because sometimes what they write down may not be what they're telling me in the office. And then I'm going to compare those things. And for example, I may find that a teacher says that this child is perfect, but a parent says that the child is not. That may not be ADHD. And so we need to start looking at what's going on in the home. Is it because the daddy is missing? I don't know. So you need to have symptoms in more than one location. Can't just pick and choose when you're going to be hyperactive and talking.
So you're more into actually digging to the root problem opposed to hearing each situation. Oh no, you got ADHD. Let me prescribe you
Oh, no,
some.
no, 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 no. Absolutely. That's why, when people come to me and they stop me at my local grocery store or wherever I'm shopping, and they say, "Hey, I've got this kid." You got to bring them in. I need to look at that child. I need to look at these scales and rating surveys and talk to teachers. I had a parent that brought the teacher in. We do all of that, and then we make an assessment
That's beautiful.
about. Oh yeah,
Right, I
oh
want to
yeah,
bring the whole teacher in.
oh yeah.
Oh,
because my child is out of control. Let me bring the teacher over here. Talk to you.
So
We
based on
love teachers.
based on what she said, are you all really like concerned? Oh, you are?
She quiet too.
Yeah,
She
that
mean
first one when you said somebody calling your name, because people like, I done called your name like 5 times, and I'd be like, I was in a whole nother world. Like, yeah, a lot
And
of
it's
them.
not just ignoring. It's deeper than ignoring.
At the shoot, I was calling her name and looking at her,
Mm-hmm.
and she was just like,
Mhm.
and I touched her. She like, I've been calling you for the last 35 seconds.
That's
What?
very
Put this
common.
oil on my back. What you doing? I'm
Very
talking to you.
What
Very
is that,
common.
Dr. Brandy?
That is
she said
inattention.
it's coming.
Yeah, that's very common. That's one of the
No,
criteria.
you did not. See, look, that's what happens.
You're
I
not
just got diagnosed.
You
That
got
was
to go in
one.
there.
That was one. And you got to bring your teacher with you.
I had a lot of them, so I need to bring my baby daddy.
Well, if he's a second environment, perhaps, but he
Yeah.
could be the trigger. We got to see.
Mm.
Oh,
So let's
Ooh,
go
this
there.
get deep.
Let's go there.
So they're triggers to ADHD.
So-
no.
Mm-mm.
Lady, she
Nope.
girl,
Dr.
don't let me
B.
take over. It's your show.
Go.
Okay. So no, I don't want to confuse the listeners at all. I mean, and let me just back up and say, I like my approach and my style is to get into your heart, get into your ears so that you can hear what I'm saying. But I really want you all to understand that ADHD is so serious.
Yeah.
And a lot of parents will come to me in the very early years because the daycare has said, look, you cannot bring him back.
Wow.
Okay, you cannot bring him to the daycare. To the daycare, not the school.
That's not even
not
4,
kindergarten.
3.
Right. So the most common age for diagnosis is 7.
Really?
The most common age for presentation or symptoms starting 3 to 6.
Really?
Yeah.
And those symptoms look like
So ADHD is what I like to call changing faces. It is a disease of changing faces. In the very young children, they are extremely hyperactive, aggressive, especially boys, which is why boys come to attention earlier than girls do. Girls sit quietly and are chatty Cathys. Teachers may not ever notice, but the boys are cagging people, kicking people, hitting people,
they were my
lifting
best
up a girl's
friends.
skirt. Yeah, all of that. Okay. They get labeled as bullies really early on. Okay. So we have to be careful about that. And then when you go over into the early elementary years, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, inattention is a problem because now the child isn't moving as much as they were before, but their bodies aren't moving, but their brains are.
Mhm.
So just when See Jane Run turns into great job, Johnny. Now tell me how was Jane moving? They don't know. They just keep saying See Jane Run. All the teacher wants to know is running, fast, quickly, something.
Mhm.
All right. And then that 7th grade, Miss Wu,
Mhm.
they can start, especially with girls, to look irritable, anxious, depressed. So they
Mhm.
come to me saying, my daughter is depressed. She's irritable. Not to mention, Woo, that sometimes around that age, something else happens.
Yeah.
A divorce, a new school. You went to middle school, something else in
Mhm.
life. Now we blame the irritability on that. And then, Vixens, when we get over into high school, we're not running around anymore. We're not as irritable, but we get into drugs, sex, and rock and roll.
Mhm.
Oh boy. So see, ADHD is so much more than just a grade. It's about life.
Right.
That's why, and when I started, I said I want to help your children be successful in the classroom and in life. This is about life.
That was a good breakdown. Everybody, they still like,
They just
Oh.
looking at me, Woo.
oh, okay, because they don't know.
They just looking.
You do family Groupons?
Look at Rose. Okay, I got questions.
I got a
Go ahead,
question.
sis.
Okay.
It's kind of twofold, but it
Okay.
is one question. Culturally, are you seeing this more in our communities or in a diverse style community?
Awesome question.
And if it is more so in our community, are we adapt to those resolutions you provide? Because when I asked you at first was really just to kind of see where you sat on it. It doesn't appear that medication is your first answer. So,
Oh my goodness.
um,
Ooh, Lord. Okay, let me break that down.
That was an awesome question.
That is a great
was.
question.
Yeah.
So, what research has shown us is that literally there are percentage points differences between African Americans and any other race. Okay, that's your first question. Um, for what it's worth, my most of the work that I do is in rural Alabama,
Oh,
where the patients don't look like me,
I understood
and
that.
I'm a very busy girl. Let me just say that.
Mm.
Okay. And in town, when I work, I'm still a very busy girl, and the people look like me. So
Gotcha.
I don't see any difference. Now, when it comes to what works, nobody wants to hear it,
Right.
but you got to treat it with medication.
Oh,
You gotta
okay.
treat it with medication.
So let me interject because
Mhm.
y'all know I'm open. I share
You are.
about my own experiences. So as a child, I was very creative,
Mhm.
and that was my outlet. So I'm sure I drove my parents nuts because it was always a program, a play. I was Whitney Houston, so I'm singing, I'm making movies, I'm
Dancing and running real
oh.
fast.
Hilarious.
Whoa. It was all of that. Okay. Got older. I didn't really deal with the depression or anything like that. I stayed on that path. Like I stayed lit. Okay. And I was able to manage that way until I was in my 30s. So in 20s, yeah, that's when you smoking, drinking, partying hard, very hard. Um, Finding other things that I was interested in that would kind of keep my attention. But then 30s, that's when I realized, like, okay, girl, you got to do something else to be able to be like, okay, you've been, and it worked. I guess it worked. I got where I got, but I needed to get further. I needed to keep it together. So I knew at that moment, I'm like, okay, I got. Can I have some medicine, please? Because if not,
Right.
yeah, it's not gonna work. So I think children often aren't given. They aren't really given that option to grow and learn and see. And I always think about my parents, and I really appreciate them for actually working with me, like kind of following me with that. My brother as well, but he's a boy, so it was different. They had to do some other stuff earlier with him. So talking about this and why I want people to be aware of it is because you can be a fully functioning, thriving, amazing person
Oh, absolutely.
with any mental health issues or concerns. Um, but with this one, I know.
Yeah. And I know, not personally, but I've probably seen about 20,000
So
kids
you
and
know.
adults. And I will tell
Personally.
and I will tell you that your presentation is very common. As I'm asking parents the questions about their children, they'll often say, "Wait a minute, that's me." Okay? And so we know that if we're looking at a child who has ADHD, there's a 40% chance that the dad does and a 30% chance that the mom does.
Wow.
So it just didn't fall out of the sky.
Right.
But a lot of times parents will say, "Well, I had it and I did all right." And the first thing I'll say to them is, "Did you reach your maximum potential?"
Boom.
Silence.
Right.
I don't believe in struggling. You get no more bonus points for struggling to get an A than you did for getting that A easily. I'm all about let's get this child this A
Right.
if they can do it, right? Let's get them this A so that they can go on and be stars on the football field too.
Right.
Instead of punishing them, they struggle with a C. Now the clearinghouse. I know a lot about sports because my husband. They can't get where they need in college, get to college, because they've been struggling all along. The self esteem gets shot down. You know, the even on their sports, you're not accurate at throwing the ball because you got distracted because the cheerleader called your name.
Right.
Yeah.
You talk a lot about students in school and how it shows with students in school.
Mhm.
And I go back to those moments and I'm like, well, yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. All that, right? But then as an adult, how adults think, I don't know what adults think. I think when they lose something or they forget something or they, I can't focus on things. I'm doing one thing and I'm getting distracted. There's a level of normalcy to some of that, right?
Absolutely. And as we age, and then a girlfriend and I were talking yesterday, and we said that there is environmental ADHD. I have several jobs, 3 babies under 6 or under 7, a husband, a mama, all these different things I'm juggling, all kind of balls in the air.
Mhm.
I got to stop over here and run over here, craziness.
Yeah.
Zoom has us watching 4 monitors at one time. You're going to miss your name being called because you're looking over here. Oh, yeah. So that's environmental.
Mhm.
That is some stuff we have volunteered to set up for. Yeah, I'm gonna lose
Yes.
my keys every once in a while, but I have a key hook that
Mhm.
when I walk in the door, I drop my keys right there.
Same.
The person with ADHD, they need towel, they need whatever the Apple people make or something. They need something else to help them, and they still can't keep up with it.
Or
Running late for meetings.
yeah.
That's adults. Missing meetings altogether. Don't know where the notes are that your boss told you to have. Missing appointments.
My mama got it.
I hear some throat clearing in the atmosphere.
Did she tell you that or you're diagnosing
I'm
her?
diagnosing my mama. Like she just described my mama like she's always constantly running and doing stuff and she forgets stuff and
Mhm.
she like lose stuff. Her phone, another one of her phones, her keys. She get mad at everybody else because she can't find her stuff. Ma'am, that's your stuff.
I would say one thing that's so important is to create systems. Like that's what helped me. I was making to-do lists when I was 6.
You love a list.
And now I don't. Like now I'm like, look, I know what okay. But then that I thrived on that organization. My
Yeah.
keys go here. My everything is organized.
That's
Period.
great. That's great.
Like if not, I don't know what would
That's
happen.
great. And that is a part going back, Rosa.
Mm-hmm.
That going back to your question, there certainly are some other things that you can do. Organization, calendars, post-it notes, remind app, whatever. But if you lose your phone, if you're always losing the calendar, if you're always losing everything, if the behavioral modification techniques that Wu and other therapists are going to give you, if you can't remember them or even focus while in session, it's just very difficult to put those things into action.
Yeah.
And have them work for you.
So that would lead to part B of my question.
Okay.
Because I believe in mental health. I
Okay.
believe it's something that as a culture we really downplay. So I think when we get an opportunity to speak about it, I'm gonna ask questions. I think people may
It's vital.
one, I think that it's a misunderstanding in what a psychologist, therapist, and a psychiatrist
yes.
does.
Oh,
So I would
yeah.
ask you to break that down for us.
Okay.
And the part 2 of it was, do you offer those services when you've diagnosed the entire situation, and you've decided that this is ADHD, and while it needs to be controlled with medication, do you also offer a level of therapy in there, or making them understand that this is a therapist, this is what they can do for you, this is a psychiatrist, this is what they can do, this is psychologist,
Mhm.
and this is why I need you to know these people in
Absolutely.
your medical health.
Absolutely. So that is an excellent question. And let me just go ahead and say this. Mental illness, mental health, mental awareness, they're very real. And we as a culture, really we as a nation, we don't want to acknowledge it. Long before we knew what ADHD was, autism, or any of a number of diagnoses, we just said, oh, that's him. And, he's a little special. That's what
true.
we didn't want to give. We still say, people, I hear most commonly, I don't want him to be labeled. But in
Mhm.
fact, teachers already are labeling the
Right.
child with something. We may as
Yeah.
well give a label that we know we can treat because ADHD can be treated very well. So we've got to move past what will mama and them say, auntie and them, because you're looking at your child and you're watching your child suffer. Grandmama ain't gonna have to answer for that. Okay, let me get out there.
Well, look, Dr. B,
I'm
my
coming.
grandmama just texted.
Oh,
Okay.
What grandma? What? Oh, I didn't get in trouble
She-
with grandma.
No, she said you tough. That's what she said.
Oh,
So she's impressed. And I have a dog.
okay.
Okay. And there was a story that just broke maybe 2 days ago about how animals can be ADHD and that they take after their owners. So she said she's tough. I wonder what she can do for Jay. What you know about that?
I've never treated an animal. I'm gonna leave that to my vet friends. That is out of my lane, and I know how to stay in mine. That is-
Okay.
tell grandmama we will get it some research, but I don't do that.
She is listening. Like that story broke, and I was like, yeah, I can see that. Because people do take, like you said, children take on the patterns and behaviors of their parents. Would you consider that environmental or
So everything
genetic?
about mental health is environmental in part and genetic in part, which is why we know that anxiety, which is actually anxiety disorders are actually the number one mental illness, not anything else, not depression, it's anxiety.
Mhm.
And we know for a fact that we can be anxious because the people around us are.
That's why y'all got to leave me alone. Don't bring that over here. Like in real, in my life, I don't do well with that. In
Yeah.
my job, bring it.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
There is a difference.
In my job, come on.
Yes.
But don't call
And
me.
you know,
with
people
that.
think we're always on. We're not.
No.
If you see me at Legion Field and my child, the 2-year-old is laid out, mind your business, okay? Mind your business, okay?
Yeah, my business don't do that.
That's right. That's me on my. That's Brandy, not Dr. Brandy.
Okay.
Right,
So Dr. Brandy, being a psychiatrist
Mhm.
and a pediatrician,
Mhm.
and what else you say?
Adult psychiatrist, child, and adolescent, and adult.
And adult. That's a lot of school.
She go to summer school.
right.
Girl.
Oh,
Girl, how long you was in school? Okay, that's not what I was. That's not where I was going.
okay. I'm sorry. I get
That's
y'all
okay.
out there.
Where I am going though is your level of concern for this area of life. What led you here?
You know, I think it was residency. I wanted to be a pediatrician. I knew nothing about mental health, psychiatrist, anything of the sort. My own mentor, shout out to Dr. Jacqueline Stewart, said to me one day, just, hey, I want you to think about a subspecialty and ... I found this triple board program. So while a fellow in child and adolescent psychiatry, I saw a family come in, mom, dad, child, and I watched this kid basically just kind of rearrange my office, and that's a nice way of putting it. And the parents, the tension was so thick. The dad was like, nothing's wrong with him. He's just a boy. He walks out, he slams the door. The mama's left crying and sobbing. I end up hugging her. You know, this is pre-COVID. We can hug each other.
Yeah.
Because I'm a touchy-feely type of doctor,
Mhm.
you know. And so, but don't mess up my outfit. I'm sorry. But so
You look cute tonight.
but
girl.
thank you.
does.
Thank you. So, but anyway, and so I said, oh my goodness, whatever is going on with this child, Vixen, is affecting this whole room, the whole house. The siblings are mad because the parents have to spend more time with this particular child. It's disrupting dinner because this child can't stay in their seat. And now the mama and daddy don't even like each other anymore. And they just came to me because the kid was not doing well in school. And so I looked at the whole situation, Rose, and I was like, this is more than a school situation we got going on here.
Wow. So that's how it started.
That's how it started. I was like, let me find out how I can help these people. Because you know everybody go to medical school because they want to help people.
Right.
Back in the third grade, I want to help people. So let me figure out how I can help these people. And that's what y'all, for real, families, I had just in the last 3 days, I've had 3 doctor friends reach out to me. One to say, I know we've been putting it off. We're ready. Please help us. Another to say, the teacher called me today. We're not playing any games. Please help us. And a third to say, thank God we went to a teacher conference today. And this is the first time that I was sweating and crying, but it was because the reports were good. Thank you for treating our son.
That's awesome.
This is real life.
Yeah.
This is real life, y'all.
Yeah, that's how it shapes up. People fear medicine. I don't want to get addicted. You know, I got issues with that in my family. And blah, blah, you know, I don't want to be dependent. I don't want to have something that controls me. All those type things. So then they stray away from the full, like when I'm talking to clients or just anybody to encourage them to take full care of themselves, I say, well, hey, it's like a cocktail, it's a little of this, a little of that, and then this right here. So you need to talk about it. You need to take some medication, and you need to do some other things on your own time, like self care, exercising, whatever it is that you do. Drink your water and sit down somewhere and relax. It's a whole cocktail of things. How much pushback do you get about medication?
Well, I don't push people at all. I educate. And then it is the parent's choice to decide what they want to do for their child. I give you the information. You do with it what you will. So, in my practice, if you don't want medicine or if you're very resistant to it and you don't even want to entertain it, I have no problem with that. Just don't schedule an appointment because I'm like Erica Badu and I get very sensitive about what it is that I do.
They said she was tough. Dr. Brandy Bowling is in the building tonight. If you all want to reach out and you hear something that is speaking to you directly, like, man, I've been putting this off. I know what it is. I fit all 12 of everything she said since I was 6. I need to know who she is. I need to get to her. How can they reach you?
You can reach me at Dr. Brandy at drbrandib.com. That's DRBRANDI at drbrandib.com. Dr. Brandy at drbrandib.com.
Awesome. All right, so go there. I'm going to put it in so that you all can see it and write that down for whoever you need to give it to. What are you all thinking in studio?
I like Dr. Brandy B. Like I'm going to contact her.
Okay.
Girl, come on.
Outside of this. For both my children. I have a 13-year-old and I have a 3-month-old.
Okay. For both of them. Wait a minute.
She just handling big bro.
I need a
The
pediatrician.
3-month-old. Wait a minute.
He need a pediatrician.
Oh, okay.
So you are doing.
So I do all by way of some helpers.
Okay.
Child psych is primarily what I do.
Gotcha.
That's why I was like 3-month-old. These people gonna arrest me.
No, he good.
You got the board calling me tomorrow.
You're like, no, not for that. Just get him as passive.
Yeah,
but,
he is passive. He good to go.
So people can reach out for like
Yeah.
Dr. Brandy B covers all of those things that you listed in the
Absolutely.
beginning.
I mean, anxiety, depression. I mean, ADHD is what I love. I also love autism spectrum disorders and treating them, diagnosing them. Trained at one of my IU, which is where I trained. We are one of the 3 ASD, autism spectrum disorder centers in the country at the time I trained. So I have a love for that as well. And really, my secret sauce is that before you leave, all of your questions are answered.
Mm-hmm.
And I really break everything down to you for you such that you're like, okay, we're going to be all right. We're going to be successful in the classroom and in life.
Yeah. Amazing.
I hear a lot of people that go and see psychiatrists and doctors and things of such, and nothing irritates the common person more than going to see a doctor and leaving with questions unanswered, or them saying, "Well, I don't know. Well, we'll see." Like, don't tell me that. So that is very reassuring that you stand by that. You're going to leave here with all of your questions
Absolutely.
answered.
Absolutely. And not one of my patients will be able to tell you otherwise.
Awesome. So once again, the email address is
Dr. Brandy at drbrandib.com. And that's Brandy with an I.
Thank you. All right. So you mentioned autism spectrum and ADHD. I've heard sometimes people don't know which is which and how they may look similar. They display similar. You want to speak to that?
Absolutely. So, autism spectrum disorder is a spectrum of disorders and it's not linear. So, you're not either, on one end or the other. One day you may be very good in one area and not performing so well in another. But it is primarily a social disorder, a disorder of social functioning, not being able to read the room, not being able to make eye contact, not wanting to give hugs and kisses and be cuddly and sometimes even be around people. There can be delays in speech. The Vixens are cutting up in here, y'all. There can be delays in speech. There are things that we call stereotypies, which is a big word that simply means you do the same thing over and over and over and over and over, like watching wheels spin or watching a single piece of paper just float in the air like a pendulum swinging back and forth. There are also some neurologic symptoms that we call soft neurologic signs, which could be something as simple as walking on your toes or not liking things touching you, like the tags in your shirt, the elastic in your waist, the seams in your socks. It's got to be just right. So parents are out at the local super store trying to figure out, how do I get the tagless shirts? Why do we notice? Why does my child notice that I made a left instead of a right? Why does my child cut up when there's a substitute teacher? Very simple changes that can just simply disrupt the day. Argumentative, but it's not just the argumentative of oppositional defiant disorder, which is another common thing seen with ADHD, but it's the argumentativeness over simple stuff like, is that gray or is it agreeable gray? Is it green or is it army green? Really hard, firm. I can't see your way of thinking because my way is right and yours is wrong. That's what autism looks like.
And that sound once, so now we go in another direction, because autism in comparison to ADHD, did that sound the same to you all?
Sorta.
Sort of,
Yeah.
kind of, right?
Yeah.
So that's when you need a doctor, because we don't need you self-diagnosing saying that I think it's autism. Okay, so then you mentioned the changes, like the changes, how changes affect ADHD. If something changes that I've grown accustomed to that makes sense, it works. Why did you change that?
Right. But
That
it's
was
more
working.
with ADHD that changing something may mean that I'm frustrated because my system, if I had a system and now
Yeah.
you've changed it, these children, every single change, going from math to science, going from the cot to the
Oh.
table, going from the lunchroom to the back to the classroom, going from mama's working 7 to 3, but now she's working 3 to 11. All of these are changes that most of us don't think about.
Right. So, okay, you go to this autism spectrum. We talked about ADHD, but then you think about OCD, because if I'm tripping about my, different things that really do this to me, I'm obsessed with it. It's a compulsive thing. Those sound alike too.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And so a lot of parents will bring their children in to me saying, my child has OCD. And so the thing about OCD is that you're either doing this thing over and over again, or you are repeating this thing or having the thought in your mind over and over again. One difference between children who are autistic and children or people who have OCD is that the thing that uh, the autistic child is doing repeatedly, they enjoy it. They find pleasure in it.
Okay.
Flushing the toilet repeatedly is just like fun. Okay. But for the child who has OCD, they have to do it. And if they don't do it, something
Oh.
bad might happen. So this is distressing.
You see how the doctor breaks it down?
Oh my goodness, y'all in here. And what's that emoji? I
Right.
like y'all. I like hanging out with the
Mind blown.
Vixenz.
So
I have a friend.
I want them to be, I want them to know. Like,
Yeah.
our audience needs to know what they're looking at instead of just saying, "Go get my bill" or "Go sit down"
Right.
or
Because our
"Shut
culture
up."
is quick to do that. Go get my bed. Go get me a limb.
Correct.
aunt used
Because
to say, "Go
that's
get me a limb."
parenting in our culture.
Right.
Like,
I have a friend here who says I get to where I tune people out completely out as soon as something else gets my attention, but I've never done that until a few years ago.
Is this an adult?
An adult.
Okay.
They've never done that before. I mean, so here's the deal. The brain is a pretty complex organ. And so
Yes.
all the different diagnoses that I deal with are one little bitty organ. Okay. As we age, traumas, we got to talk about trauma,
Mhm.
things that happened to us in the past when we're in the middle, when we get to be in our 20s and 30s and we're in the middle of life and yay, we're having a good time. We're in college, we're drinking, we're doing whatever we're doing. And then we get to be older, we start slowing down. We don't have our kids to run around with as much. And so now we can actually go to bed at a different time and we're not so dog tired that we fall asleep somewhere between upright and our heads hitting the pillow. Now we have time to be with our thoughts. And sometimes some of those thoughts are not thoughts that we want to
Deal with.
deal with.
Right.
Yeah.
They're
And
very
so we're
intrusive.
spacing out, and I don't know. So your
Yeah.
friend would need to come in. I couldn't say.
Right.
But
Come holler at her.
yeah, well, that friend may want to holler at woo.
Ah. See, that goes back
Back
to
to your question.
understanding who
Right.
do you need, right?
Can I just answer that real quick?
Yeah,
Woo,
absolutely.
Okay. So that's a very good question. So psychologists, psychiatrist, therapist. Um, a psychiatrist, like myself, is a medical doctor. The TR for trist, we treat TR with medications.
Oh.
A psychologist either has a PhD or a Psych D. They are doctors as well, but they get the gist of medicines but cannot prescribe them. Gist, psychologist. They do a lot of testing. Many psychiatrists do not do testing. Most of us mainly prescribe. But to answer your question, Maria, yes, we do some therapy in the middle of and what's related
Rosa Maria.
to Maria. Yeah, girl, I know your name, so you.
I ain't worried. You called it three times.
I gotta get
Right.
the other ones. They just Vixenz, but that's all right.
Okay, now.
Okay, all right. So the gist, they get the gist. They do testing. So if you bring your child to me and I'm like, ooh, mama, I'm not really sure because is this autism? Is it ADHD? Is it OCD? Oh boy, I need to call my colleague over here so that they can do some testing. And then if you come to me and you just say, you know, really, I heard what you said on the radio when you were on last Sunday, but I was still curious about medicines, but I don't think we're there yet. Or if I say, you know, mama, I don't think we're there yet. This child just needs some coping skills. That's where my therapist comes in. And you can be doing all of that at the same time.
Right.
All of that.
That's that cocktail.
Cocktail. I like it.
That's it.
Not in a glass.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's how it goes. So
That's
like the
dope.
breakdown is what a lot of people need. Because I was talking to my psychologist. You have a psychologist that you talk to all the time? Okay, good. That's different for you. Knowing who you're seeing and for what is so important. So when you decide that, hey, I need somebody to prescribe me something for what my therapist and I or my psychologist and I have discussed, that's when they get to you.
That's right.
Gotcha. How does that go pediatrician? Are you diagnosing in how does that go? How do you do it?
I mean, everybody needs to understand that your child's pediatrician is really their first line. Because it's a long wait list to get into somebody like me. There aren't many of us in the country, unfortunately. Psychiatry is not sexy. So just as unappealing as it is to people to want to come to one, apparently physicians think it's not all that cool either. I don't know.
I mean, that's because we got to keep going to school and learn dosages and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought about it.
Yeah.
I did. I really thought about it. I was like, well, maybe I could just do weed cards for people. But you still gotta know that. So don't worry about it.
So your child's pediatrician should be the first stop if you have any concerns about X, Y, or Z going on with your child. And then they may start something or send you somewhere. And then eventually you may come to me. But it can be a very common number is 3 to 6 months. So if you think about it, that's almost an entire school year. While you're waiting to see a psychiatrist.
Yeah, so get some good doctors, line up with doctors who have connections or, that can make it happen in one place. Like, make it happen in one place. What y'all got?
She covered it all. Like I'm just sitting here listening. Like I don't really have a lot of questions because she's covering it all. And I guess when you mentioned that you don't leave my office with any questions, I'm not leaving this Vital Show with any questions.
Well, then that means I have done my job.
You most certainly have.
And we still got time, so we're still going.
Well, can I tell you a little bit about? I want to make sure y'all are following me on Facebook.
Yes.
Is that all right?
Absolutely.
Dr. Brandy B, the same spelling, DrBrandib, and I'm live every Friday at 12 noon. We do this every Friday at 12 noon Central Standard Time. You type your question in, I'm answering it on the spot. That's me, Dr. Brandy B. The other thing that we need to talk about, remember when you asked me, how did I know that I wanted to do ADHD? Remember that family, the mom and the dad stormed out, the mama was sobbing, the kids still rearranging the room.
Right.
I recognize even in myself, that mamas get tired. And so now I have coming up Mommy's Time Out, November 13th. No kids allowed. We're not talking about kids. We are doing Mommy's Time Out. www.mommystimeout.me. Give me a time out. Hallelujah. Mommy's Time timeout.me.
What is this gonna look like?
This is going to look like, oh my goodness, some favorites from around the city. Dr. Mia is going to come and talk to us about how to keep all of us together. And if you know Dr. Mia, you know she's an OBGYN. You know what she talks about. Dr. Leisha is going to be coming in and talking to us about ditching the mommy guilt. Y'all know Dr. Leisha. We're going to have Dr. Cree come in. Dr. Cree is going to talk to us about how we can be better wives and spouses and better people to the people that we're with, whatever that looks like. And then who else do we have? Dr. Katisha Vance is going to come in and she's going to talk to us about making sure that we take care of ourselves and go to the doctor. How many mamas out there don't even know the last time they went to the doctor? Dr. Katisha is an oncologist, so that is a doctor who studies cancer and treats cancer. She's going to tell us about all those checks that we need to be getting. You all know Dr. Celeste. Dr. Celeste is going to be coming in and talking to us about wellness and also Dr. COVID-19. We're also going to have Rachel Porterfield Winston coming in, makeup artist, and make sure we're looking good and beautiful outside and in. We've got Dr. Lindy out of Indianapolis coming in to talk about fashion, and we've got Dr. Nicole Cole, a breast radiologist in Columbus, Georgia. She's going to be coming to talk to us about traveling and how absence makes the heart grow fonder. Now there's a fee, but if you type in radio, RADIO tonight, we're going to take off $100. Just bringing that on down to, you will see it when you get there. Go on over to www.mommystimeout.me. Don't just give the babies a timeout. You need one too.
That's what's up. So when you say mommy, to help people, because sometimes they'll know to drop the Y and
oh yeah, you can't because it's MOMMY apostrophe. So it's just in the URL MOMMYS.
Mommies.
Mm-hmm.
Mommies. There you go.
Mommies.
That's a big deal. So like y'all get hooked up every Sunday. Last Sunday we had an attorney in that gave you the hookup. All you had to do was say, "Hey, Vital," and that was your discount for family law last week. And then now this week, mamas, like y'all getting the hookup too by putting in radio. So like if you're listening and you want an opportunity to take advantage of some major self-care, there you go. She said you'll save a whole $100. Like that's,
November 13th. We're starting early. Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. I know y'all gonna love her. Dr. Tennille, who is out of Louisiana. She is a pharmacist and a medical mixologist. She is gonna be giving us mommy mimosas and some other things that y'all might enjoy too.
What was that
November
site
12th?
again? I want to
November 12th.
down.
November the 13th, Saturday.
Okay. Awesome. November 13th.
Is timeout.
That's big. And Dr. Brando was like, I'm doing it because I need it. So you have to know what you need.
Right before I came here and I was like, this is good. The people need to hear this. Yeah, I'm triple boarded. Yeah, I got a husband. He's an attorney. Yeah, we do good. But at the end of the day, the Legion Field thing, y'all, that happened for me. We went out for a Friday night at a football game this season. The 2-year-old laid out. Y'all know Legion Field around the bottom. The baby laid out in the floor. And I'm like, Lord, how many of my patients are here?
To see my baby.
To see my baby.
Up out here.
But I just want you to know I'm in this struggle with you.
Right. And that's the thing. Like,
you're a mother too.
I get it.
I had to holler at them babies and I said, you know what? Hallelujah. A time out is coming. November the 13th. We gonna figure it out.
That's what's up. Write that down. Write down the contact information. And before we get out of here, there are some things that are major that we discuss on a regular basis here on the show. So we talk about red flags. We talk about DMR. That's a major topic, dating, mating, and relating. And I want to talk about mental health, mental illness, and dating, mating, and relating. But before we do any of that, schizophrenia and how you see that. Because that is, I saw a billboard. That's what brought it to mind. I saw a billboard traveling. And I just was like, people don't really get this one. This is the one that nobody wants to get, but they don't understand it. Can you break that down for us?
Yeah, so schizophrenia is what we call one of them, the major serious mental illnesses. SMI, serious mental illness. They had bipolar disorder. And it is what we call a thought disorder, which means that your thoughts are not in line anymore, or at least at that moment, with reality, whether that be through hallucinations, which are hearing or seeing things, sometimes even feeling things that aren't there, whether it be through delusions, which are hard, firm, fixed thoughts that are not based in reality. or even disorganization, not being able to care for yourself, not being able to pay your bills, and keep yourself neat and in order. Schizophrenia is very much it is serious. It's unfortunate, and this is one of those things where we were talking about, Maria, where it can look very different based on socioeconomic status.
Mm.
So urban schizophrenia may look very different from a situation where we have rich people who are able to get access to treatment
Right.
services. Thank goodness we don't see a lot of that very much. I mean, you don't see it nearly at all in the population that I serve. But a lot of times it can lead to homelessness, broken relationships, joblessness. It's just very unfortunate. But there again, if you tackle anything head on when it first presents, don't act like it's not happening. Denial is definitely more than a river, but we've got to get to the point where we can go ahead and accept things as they are, get treatment. And yes, you can have Jesus, a therapist, a psychiatrist, and the rest of the cocktail too. Because your doctors are probably Christian too, if they care to share that with you. But definitely, it impacts our community in ways we can't even imagine. But we must just deal with these things when they first start to present.
Right. And let me talk about what it presents like, because a lot of
Mhm.
people will, they don't know what they're seeing when they see it. So one thing I like to tell people about is those hallucinations and delusions. So you'll see people talking to somebody that you don't see,
Mhm.
and they are really getting it in full-fledged conversation. You're not present, but you are, but they're not talking to you. Um, like you said, the inability to care for themselves. So a lot of people with schizophrenia will end up homeless. Lack of support in our community, you see that often.
Yeah.
That's mental illness. That's not just somebody that wants to be homeless that
Exactly.
doesn't have any friends.
Exactly.
So I like to make sure that people understand that, and then also the age for diagnosis with schizophrenia.
So oftentimes, schizophrenia is going to happen in around 18 to those early 20s into the 20s. There usually is some stressor, so going off to the military, going off to college, something along those lines that usually causes the first break. Sometimes we'll see a prodrome, and a prodrome is a fancy word that means symptoms before the big thing comes. And so in late high school, 10th grade or so, you may start to see a child who's just becoming paranoid, always suspicious, wanting to peep outside before they actually go outside. And then those symptoms kind of continue until eventually you do get the full blown psychotic break.
Mm. So when people say, see you, Rosa, when people say, you know, I had a nervous breakdown.
I called you
What?
Maria. Who is Maria?
Brandy.
And it just hit her.
Even after we talked about it.
Yeah. And
That's
it just
ADHD.
clicked.
I
Yep.
told y'all that's how we do, but I'm not speaking on your behalf. Dr. Brandy B, look.
I called you. I'm sorry, girl. I be trying to get people's names
Rosa
right.
Maria, it's like a thing.
Girl, it's okay. You called my name right first 3 times. We got it on air. Don't do it.
Look, y'all made me lose my stuff. I just
I'm
lost
sorry.
it.
I'm sorry. Let's go back.
Go.
I don't know where to
Let's
go
go
back
back.
to.
Well, we were talking about
Oh,
the schizophrenia. Come
That's
on.
it. That's my dog. See? Okay. So with people saying I had a mental breakdown, what is that? Or a nervous breakdown?
Nervous breakdown.
What is that?
Girl, I really don't know.
Me either.
We don't have a diagnosis for that. Sometimes when people say I had a nervous breakdown, I'm thinking what the best I can make of that is that they had a significant episode of anxiety and panic
Mm-hmm.
where, and so a panic attack is a set of symptoms that all look like fight or flight, right? Do I run or do I stay? But your body gets all revved up and it can't stay like that indefinitely. That's the best I've ever really been able to make of that. I don't know if it's that, if it's depression. But people used to get hospitalized for that all the time. But I really think it's panic. It's the best I can come up. Anxiety.
Well, like life can just become just so
Yeah, the moment.
overwhelming,
Yeah.
and it's just like I can't do this.
Yeah.
And you just kind of just like I'm not gonna do this, and you just lose it.
And then
break down.
you tell people I had a nervous breakdown, but who diagnosed? Okay, nobody told you.
Nobody
I,
told
I,
you.
I,
Nobody
I ain't
told you
telling
that.
nobody. I just stopped answering my phone and talking to people for a while.
That's it. Rosa, what you
But
got?
see, that's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask if um, if you think that these type of things are born issues, something that is genetically transferred, or if it's something trauma triggered. And kind of to tie it
Mm-hmm.
into our first line, we have a young lady that has experienced a major trauma. And we
Absolutely.
have two minors that has experienced it with her, right?
Absolutely.
So we that because right now they don't know how to express
Right,
Exactly.
right,
themselves,
right.
right? So it made me think when you guys were talking about how schizophrenia is identified at the age and kind of what happens in that is can that be deduced from an earlier trauma that's not at all addressed, or is this really a genetic malfunction that is unable to be addressed until it really kind of matures, forms like
Mm-hmm.
another gene?
Mhm.
Until it displays, yeah.
So to just say to Melody, who spoke before me, awesome job. Kudos for standing up. Trauma is real. I think that the best thing we can do when it comes to trauma or in general as parents, the best thing we can do is be mentally well ourselves for our
Yes.
children.
Yes.
Um, if we are anxious, our children will be anxious. If we are depressed, they and again, there's the genetic piece, but there's also the environmental piece. And so if they see you saying, okay, let's tackle this, let's get it done, boom. But if they see you cower in a corner and shiver, that is how they learn to handle stressors in their
Oh,
lives.
okay.
Now, let's go back real quick because I got to throw this out there. When we're talking about schizophrenia, when we're talking about ADHD, when we're talking about anything else, we cannot forget to mention substance abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Some people
Oh.
have psychotic breaks
Yes.
because they took something, smoked something, ingested something, and they didn't know what it was.
Yes.
So, for all the people that say it's just marijuana, if you're growing it, you know that it's just marijuana.
Right.
If you're not, you don't really know. And some of this stuff that people are rolling up and smoking now will have them have their brains looking like Swiss cheese, literally. Okay. So we've got to be careful about substance abuse. Sometimes substance abuse can lead to the disorder. With
Oh.
ADHD,
It
though,
can be a
remember
result
I said
of.
it can be a result of your impulsivity. Boom. Somebody offered you something, you smoked it, you ingested it, you whatever. And now you find your way to things that help you calm down, like alcohol, cocaine, meth,
Got you.
but you're hooked.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I need
Okay.
y'all to be listening. Okay. So like
'Cause that was deep.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Black went to college with me. So she's seen me now for 20 years. And I'm not doing well.
You are doing extremely well. I'm so proud of you.
And look, I ask people because people see your transitions. They see like you could drink a gallon of something and still be functioning or be leveled because of the chemical pieces of all of this stuff. So then as an adult, you look at the foundation of everything as well. So you have a foundation, you have morals, you have values, you have a reputation. It's so much that plays into living and coping with mental stressors or mental disorders or mental illnesses that a lot of people don't get it. So when somebody gets you and they really try to function in it with you, oh, you keep them around. You
Yeah.
keep people like that around because those are your protectors.
Yeah.
Maybe say, "Hey, you need a bodyguard." I do
Yeah.
sometimes. I do. But the part of it with the chemical imbalance, what does that look like, and how do you get into that part of any of these disorders? The
So,
chemical piece.
so the medication. Um, so yeah, that's what I do all day, every day. If we cured mental illness, which I hope that we do, I would be out shopping for a living and I would be all right with that.
Yes.
But that is what I do. You mentioned earlier um side effects.
Yeah.
And that's always a concern. And that's why on my Friday talks, I don't even bring medicine up because again, I want people to understand why these disorders are so important so that then they will say, oh my goodness, I'm not going to make my child suffer and get D's and C's when I know that they're A students and I'm watching their mood deteriorate and I'm watching them socially not be able to interact with their friends and I'm watching scholarships pass them by because the highest they could get on the ACT was a 16 when they're making straight A's in high school. This is real life stuff, y'all.
Mhm.
When we're talking about ADHD, so yes, side effects. Any medicine has a potential side effect.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
And the more effective the medicine, the bigger the side effect risk.
That's the part.
But we got to look at, do we keep doing what we're doing where we're not getting better, or do we say people are living with this and being treated every day, and they don't look like my great 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 uncle on my mama's side once removed who married my cousin, how we say he used to sit in a corner and rock. They're not looking like that anymore.
Right.
They're walking around among us.
Or like the uncle that you never saw because they kept him in the back room.
Yeah.
So people are functioning, they are living, they are working, they are running companies, they are
doing everything.
Everything. There are no limits.
They are gymnasts winning Olympic gold medals. They are whatever it is that their hearts desire. But if you want to kill your child's dream, if you want to do that, go on. Just don't treat their ADHD and watch it happen.
Girl. Baby girl.
Grandmama gonna be calling you.
Did that, didn't
She told them, they were like, oh, pull my toes back because she was stepping on them. That was them. Your contact information.
My contact information, Dr. Brandy at drbrandyb.com.
Okay. There are some powerful people right among us, and we try to bring them to you every Sunday night right here at 7 p.m. on the Abby Award-winning Vital Show, giving you good information, sharing their lives with you, opening up about things that a lot of times people are uncomfortable speaking about. We try to give it to you in a way where you can take it, you can accept it, and you can keep moving because now you have the tools. That's what we do here. So if you or someone you know is interested in anything that you've heard, you can email us directly at vitalvixens with a Z at gmail.com. You can hit me up directly at IamLadyWoo at yahoo.com. And Dr. Brandy B at Dr. Brandy at
drbrandyb.com.
Hit her up too. Get that information. And if you want to get in with us on working with Melody, IamLadyWoo at yahoo.com. Not watch who work at G. Well, yeah, let's do Yahoo. Let's do it immediately because there are some people who are listening that want to get in on helping Melody and then learning about more of what Dr. Brandy shares. So if you heard anything tonight that inspired you, if you know me, I want to do this before we go. If you know one of the Vixens and you listen because of them, text them now and let them know that I tuned in. If you know Dr. Brandy, do the same. And then on next Sunday, we shall send you the information that you need to tell everybody else that you know. Dr. Brandy, plug the book right quick and let's get out of here.
Yes. Shine, Understanding ADHD so your child can be a star. You can get this at www.shineadhdbook.shop. Go grab it. It is all of me in print. You want a copy of it.
Love it.
Shine, Understanding ADHD so your child can be a star. I heard some people clapping for Dr. Stewart. She wrote the foreword. It is great. Go ahead and grab it.
All right. That is Sunday for you. We are getting into Magic City Classic Weekend the whole week. And I'm going to fill you in on how to make it through tomorrow, 10 a.m. right here on V94.9 WATV. The V will stand for variety tomorrow. But as for right now, it still stands for vital. Y'all be safe. Enjoy your week and be vital.
Be vital. This was an amazing show.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm tearing up y'all stuff.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.